Welcome, one and all, to, I was going to say Learn CNC with Javi, but we're now called Talk CNC with Javi, whatever, CNC Talk with Javi, show number 22. And today's show will be the Q&A show, and you'll know that that nothing is prepared whenever someone says Q&A. So that's a trade secret, just so you know. Yeah, so I thought it was about time to, if anybody has any questions, throw them out there, and let's welcome our panel Dave, would you like to introduce yourself for anyone that has joined us if they don't know you? If that's at all possible.
Yeah, my name's Dave. You can you can find me on YouTube as Dave Gatton, or you can find me pretty much anywhere as Dave Gatton.
My name's Dave, and I'm a 3D printer addict.
And Becca, if you mind introducing yourself there?
Becca Miller, and I'm on Facebook, and that's about it.
And Mr. Mark Lindsay.
Hey, y'all, Mark from Mark Lindsay CNC. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm everywhere. Thank you for inviting me, Javi.
You're very welcome, Mark. And I'm always still surprised how every time you somebody from Oregon says, "Hey, y'all," it just blows my mind.
Well, this is what happens when you're raised by someone from Texas.
There you go.
Hey, he's in Southern Oregon, right?
That's right. I'm in Southern Oregon.
That's right. That's it. Well, you know, coming from, I, of course, am down in Miami, which we call the deep, deep South.
How you say that in Spanish?
Hell if I know. El sur. Well, anyway, so tonight we're going to do Dave's suggestion here, and we're going to do unboxing video of a Monoprice printer. Let me lock it on me for a second here. And so here's a short little history for those of you that don't know. I have a buddy of mine, a real close friend. I'll give you a little brief history on the buddy of mine. Back in the day before Google, I was known to a few of my friends as I was Google because just for the simple fact that I knew a lot about nothing. Basically, as my mind, like many of ours, is filled with a bunch of trivial facts, and I was curious about everything. So anybody had a question, they would ask me, and I usually have an answer. Whether it was right or not or wrong, that didn't really matter. But I had a buddy of mine who was my guru I had different sources for different things, but most of what I was interested in, he knew a lot more than me. And so a buddy of mine, Carlos, and I, he was 2 years older than me in high school, great friend. Long story short, he bought something from me. He said, "I'll pay you later." And 3 or 4 years down the line, pay you later, I figure, well, let me ask him for the money. Which, that's why you never mix friends with, and I didn't want the breakup of the friendship or anything. Well, he goes to me, "Listen, I have this printer, this 3D printer, that's, and it is worth more than what he owed me." And he goes, "You want that instead?" And I said, "Great. Save a friendship and get a really new toy," which I was planning on getting anyway, so it worked out perfect. Hence, I don't know why they put boxes in boxes. I find that quite irritating. But welcome to the unboxing of the Monoprice printer, which was pre-boxed. Now, my Now, my buddy said that he had, by the way, this has been 5 months sitting in a box, so about time I start using it. My buddy said he upgraded the whatever it means. I don't know. If Ron Cleveland is out there, maybe he can explain. But he mentioned he changed the head, upgraded the head to a V3 head. Do any of you know what that actually means?
I know even less about 3D printers than I do about.
Ron is out there, Javi. Ron Cleveland is out there.
Excellent. Yeah, so again, this is my first I mean, we're talking CNC can't hold a candle, but 3D printing.
Okay, he's saying it's a E3D is an all metal hot end.
It's a metal hot end. Okay, so it's an upgrade to the original one, which it had whatever that might have been. Ooh, it's a pretty little thing. Let's see. As I drop parts all over the place, let's see what I can do here to show this a little better. It's a 4.7 by 4.7 inch plate, from what I understand.
It's a baby.
It's a baby. But I don't plan on printing much yet.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what everybody says, right, Dave? Wow,
That's even littler than my old Piranha FX CNC. Good Lord, that's little.
that is tiny.
Cute little thing.
Telling you. Yeah, so. Thank you for coming to my unboxing.
So you can consider that sucker unboxed?
It's unboxed.
Sweet.
It's plug and play.
There's a switch. Somewhere in China, there's a lady going, "Cut that out!" with a light flicking on and off. I always love that joke.
Sean Draper says if you water it, maybe it'll grow.
That's should go to the doctor and get a prescription for Viagra, and
Oh,
maybe that'll help. It's a cute little thing here. This thing moves back and forth. And I assume you're not supposed to push it back and forth.
Javi, Ron Cleveland says you'll have a second one in a couple of weeks.
I no doubt. I gotta tell you, just wanting to print from it, just the desire to want to print from it and seeing the size, I am tempted at this very moment to order one that's like 9 by 9. But I like it. It's interesting. All right, so we shall describe it. It's got a plug for the plug, a jack for the plug. It's got some sort of a fancy, well, I would call it chip, a 3D thingy. And let's see. Apparently, there are 2 roller skate bearings here. So I'm assuming, let me stop presenting here so everybody can see everybody. Apparently, there are a couple of roller skating bearings here, so I can only assume that this thing is mobile. But it is a very interesting device. Doesn't look like it's been used much. I don't know what this metal is made out of. But suffice to say that, let's see, let's do some quick calculation. My shop is on a 1/12 scale, and I plan to use this to create little miniatures at a 1/12 scale. The biggest piece of is probably the Colossus, which is 7 feet, so it would be 7 inches. So that one I'll have to do on the CNC. But most every other item. So the biggest thing, 4.7 inches. That means I can do anything that is 4 feet by 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet. Yeah, I could pretty much make any tool.
You'll have to get Dave to print you a Colossus. He's got several.
Dave will have to get Dave the plans for the Colossus and have him print me one. It's interesting. But yeah, I'm.
Ron Cleveland wants to know if you can zoom into the hot end.
Zoom into the hot end. Absolutely. Bear with me. And bear with me. I'm trying to actually find the hot end. If you thought the machine was tiny, let's see how much of a zoom this has.
Well, just plug it in, turn it on, and start grabbing stuff. You'll find it.
How well can you guys see the hot end there? Let me hang on. Let me lock it on me again.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It looks like your buddy has put a lot of modifications on it.
Let's see. Where am I? Bear with me. There we go. And now, right, that light blue plastic piece is the hot end, or at least, well, that's where stuff comes out, because it looks like a poop chute. I don't know. Here, let me see if I can get a better view here. That doesn't focus. Let me back up a little. Here's the difficult to see. And here's the mess of wires that I would do my best to clean up. And I don't know what those are in there. There's some sort of a springy thing, and this is, I don't know. And then there's some other thing here on top of the machine, which, and I am assuming this plastic piece was created this blue plastic piece might have been an afterthought. One of the, I'm thinking everything blue here was created. There's another blue piece there. And
yeah, it looks like there's
all these 3D people tend. I know that all these 3D people tend to make stuff for their printers. There is a screen of some sort here, and it's atomic filament. I thought this was supposed to be a Monoprice, or maybe it is a Monoprice. Let's try plugging it in and see what happens.
Glad I'm in Texas.
Yeah. Lights will go on. Lights will go off all over the place in Texas. So, as I plug this in here. Speaking of lights going on and off, if you ever decide to buy bulk LED bulbs on eBay, on Amazon, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on my track ladder are out already. That's been a year and a half. It's time to order another 6-pack and return all the bad bulbs.
Yeah, Ron Cleveland is saying yes, it's a Monoprice.
Ah, good. I suppose. Let's see here. Now, should I plug this into 110 or 220? And go.
Jim Bashir's in the house.
Jimbo, what you up to? All right, and it is officially plugged in. Let us turn it on and see what happens. Let me aim this where we can all see it. And that is in the way. There we go. And on we go. Ooh. What's this? Temperature. Let's turn it. Extruder is at 20, 19, 23. I wish it could make up its mind. The platform is at 16, 17, 18. Oh, at least the platform's going up. 21, 22. I don't even feel it getting hot. I wonder what this button does. Layer cooling fan. Woo!
Yeah, touch it. That's good.
Yeah, I'm one of those kids that stuck my fingers in fans when I was little. That's it. See?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that was a ring. And that was not a tool. So I know some people. Let's see. Okay, that was interesting. Oh, okay, that turns that switch on and off, that thing on and off. Interesting. No other buttons over here I can press. What's this button do? That's not a button. Well, the platform. I guess. Let's see. Let's see if is Ron or anybody telling me to do anything here with this thing, because
He's saying that's a manual part cooling fan. You have to turn it on and off when you need it.
Start preheat. Oh, it's not a touch screen. There we go. Start preheat. Should I start the preheat, or do I actually have to have some filament in here?
You can heat it up without the filament.
All right. Starting preheat. Ooh, this is interesting.
Does it have a place to hold the spool? Mounted on it anywhere?
I don't see one anywhere.
Or is that what's in that bag of parts? That's probably what those rollers
Oh, there it is. Hey, look at that. A spool holder. 3P.
Yeah, those bearings go in those slots in that thing you got in your hand.
Ah, look at that. The skateboard bearings.
Ron says you have to preheat the hot end before loading the filament.
What's that?
Ron says you have to preheat the hot end before loading filament.
Got it. Well, here these little very undersized plastic dowels go in through here and in through here. I'm assuming, but it looks right. And same thing with these. There we go. Oh, this is rather fun. Now, if I can find a place to stick this.
You
Ron says there might be a thing on the menu to load filament.
Left myself open for that. Okay, what?
Ron says it may have a load filament in the menu.
Okay. Let's see here. So far, the target. Oh, what does it say? Oh, target is 190, and it's at 185 now. 187 and 189, 188. What the? 189. Ooh. Something smells pretty cool, and I mean, pretty plasticky, melty. I like that.
That may be the last grilled cheese sandwich he made on it.
Let's see, and oh yeah, this is nice and warm. It's as I touch it without even knowing how hot it gets. 45 degrees, whatever that means. All right, so I'm going to exit, and I'm not going to print anything because I got nothing. Well, there's no connection, which I'm assuming. Here we go. I wonder if they got anything on this thing. Oh, look at that! A place to stick another thing. This is a blast. This is how we do things. Just find a hole. Look, there's a hole for this thing and this thing. Luckily, I know what these are. The micro SD card goes in the SD card, and then the SD card goes into, well, that's not a slot for that. Okay. It takes a micro SD card. That's just for the computer. So here we go. That's interesting.
Yeah, Ron Cleveland is saying, I hope he used ABS to print those extruder parts. PLA will melt.
Well, I have a feeling he probably didn't.
And Frankie brings up a good point. You might not want to print whatever's saved on that live.
Yeah.
Or then again, you might.
Well,
then again,
my friend is a family man, and he's not a pervert, so at least I could be fairly sure it's something rated G.
He may not be a pervert, but you don't know whether or not his last customer was.
All right. One very
in the machine.
PLA spool, shrink wrapped for your protection.
You'll burn your finger.
There you go. That's how I open my Diet Coke cans. I'll look for the seam and just do it like that. If anybody's a fan of Remo Williams, you know.
Yeah. Javi, are you sure you didn't bump a setting on your mic or something?
I'm sorry. Oh, here, hang on a second. That's better. Then you can't. How's that?
Well, they're just talking about a heck of an echo, and it's everybody else has got a headset on. So.
Well, let's see here. Check 1, 2. I don't see it on my side, but
that sounds okay there. I thought maybe you might have hit a setting on your mic.
Now I can. It probably is. Let me get
it has to be. We've all got headsets on.
Stand by. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, that's way better.
There we go. All right. Still can't move this thing in the close to there. All right, so this is nice and hot still. Yes. Let me know what Ron's saying, so you know. I don't burn myself too badly. This would go here. That would go there.
What is that? Like a silver gray you got there?
Yeah. It's PLA, definitely. 1.75 mil. And I'm assuming it goes this way because just because it looks like it should fit through here.
Ron says filament goes into that black thing on top with the spring.
Let me break this piece off or cut it because it doesn't look like bends. Oh, hang on, let me lower.
Cut it at an angle if you can.
Cut it at an angle if I can.
Yeah, it'll go through that valve tube easier.
All right. That's not very smooth. Oh well. All right, so this thing goes here.
Yeah, Ron says don't let the spool unroll, it'll tangle.
Okay.
He's not kidding.
All right, so I got it here. And that is not the easiest thing to thread, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, push. There you go.
I'm trying. There we go. All right.
Look at him. He's a natural.
Yeah. Well.
A natural what? We're still looking.
I imagine I shove
You
it
know we love you, Javi.
stops. I just saw it go through the last little bit. And there it is. I gave it a little resistance. I'm hoping that's it.
Yeah, you should see some oozing out here in a little bit.
Ah. It was the poop chute.
It is.
All righty. What's this thing for? Oh, that thing. Interesting. Whatever. Okay. I'm guessing that this is PLA because you don't often see well, I guess you do. You can have ABS in blue, but ABS is mostly black and white. But I suppose they make all colors. What's the next step, Ron? Keep pushing it through until it comes out the nozzle. So I keep pushing.
Well, hit that spring.
What's that?
Compress that like you were doing, like you were feeding it in. And then just give it a little shove until you'll see some oozing out the bottom.
Oh, gotcha. There it is. Ooh. That's a lot. How hot is that?
You're going to burn yourself. I can see that already.
It only hurts for a minute, though. I'm not, unless you got, well, I don't want to say it on live show, but.
Nah, it's already, I mean, look at that. It's already.
There you go.
Yeah. It's already hot, cold. Okay. Now what do I do? Let's see here. Print. Let's try print. Or do we have to load something? Print. Please wait. Oh, look at this. Cura.exe.
Ron's asking, is the build plate level to the nozzle?
I don't know what you mean by level. It is The right now the nozzle is about 3/4 of an inch higher than the plate.
Well, is there on that menu, is there a way to home it?
Let's find out. Let me exit this part. And
Because that Z height may be wherever it was when that guy last ran it.
move. Move. Home axis.
Home your axis, yeah. There you go.
Ooh. Fancy CNC stuff. All right. We homed the axis. Oh, I see. It's going down and pushing against the bottom or something. Maybe I should have broke off whatever was left hanging, or I don't know or not. But well, there it is. It's homed. What's the next step? Let me see here. Did Javi read the what instruction? Who do you think I am? That's Jim Dockrell asked.
Okay.
I read the instruction. Get out. We don't read instructions around here. That's just wrong. Let's see here.
Get a piece of paper and check the nozzle height.
Ooh. We're talking some well, it's similar to a CNC. It's resistance. They don't come in Spanish. I don't know. Last time I read Spanish was high school. All right. What are we looking at? Is there anything else before I can run to each corner and do the gotcha. X-axis. And I'm assuming if let me see here. I can roll this and it'll go somewhere. There it is.
Baby.
That is cute. Goes all the way to the end.
Have limit switches there?
I don't know what the heck. Yep. Now let's do Y. Oh, I keep pressing that thing. I gotta stop that. Nope. Click that off. This is really annoying. Oh, wrong way. Okay, I hear you. It went brrr. I guess that's not a good thing. Yep. That's good. Now let's go back to the X. Both sides are counterintuitive, I gotta tell you.
Now, do you have to do this just because you just got it out of the box, or is this something you have to do every time you use this silly little thing? I mean, this wonderful thing.
Yeah, I would guess just out of the box, but let's go back to home. Now, let me go over to this place and download some kind of fancy I'm speaking with an echo again?
Yeah, folks are saying
Okay,
you got an
that's
echo
not me
again.
this time.
I don't know if you got speakers.
Check, check. No, it's only my headphones.
I don't know if you got speakers turned on or what.
Oh darn!
Okay,
Now I lost my
I'm seeing
headphones.
it through Becca's. I'm seeing it through Becca's feed now, so I don't know if you have speakers turned on or what.
There we go. Let's see. Dave's face is classic. All right. Now that we got this squared away, let's see. At least the basics. I'm gonna try my hand at printing something. Now, what do the files look like, or does anybody know on a Monoprice printer, or are they all normal? Dave, what do your files look like on?
I use the Cura slicing program, which is free, and
Okay.
it saves them with a it's a .g2 extension.
All right. That's got to be Google Hangout because we're all on headphones. I saw in the print menu, Cure. So I'm the Cura. So I'm assuming I run that program. And then there's I see cat G code, and I see a cat.g code, and I see Cura.
You could run the cat.g code just to test. That's a program that's ready to run.
Okay. Now, if I run it, will I need to home the? Will I need to move it to the middle of the thing, or right from?
It should do it.
Okay. Then here we go.
Yeah, maybe the Capicat, or however you say it, that Jim Bashir's just said. Mine had the regular cat.
Why is this going up? Oh, looks rather interesting.
It may be homing itself.
Wow.
I hear CNC music.
Holy cow. That's a lot faster than I would have imagined.
See now, Javi, I've already got you a business opportunity here. You can take that's small enough. You can take that with you in your RV and print out those little airfoil things for every trailer in the campground.
You better believe I'm taking my Mac and this thing in the RV and
you laugh, but I saw somebody in the Gatton group. This has been about a year ago. The Gatton CCP Facebook.
Yeah.
He got a toy haul.
Javi, lock it on you. So we
What?
can,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Hang on a second.
while Mark talks. I'm sorry, Mark.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'd rather watch him than me anyway.
Thank you.
No, a fella in the Gatton CNC Facebook group, it's been a little over a year ago, he got a toy hauler.
Put this up here.
And he put his Gatton CNC in the back of that toy hauler. And he runs it out of that toy hauler.
Really? Wow.
At campgrounds and what have you, and makes camper signs for folks while he's camping.
That's cool.
This looks like it's going to take a long time. And let me see if I can get a better view somewhere. I'll need a box. Bear with my crazy. And I'll need the. What happens if you move the printer while it's printing?
Jim Bashir's asked, what got all you guys interested in 3D? Jim, I'm blaming Ron Cleveland. I had him on my CNC with Dave show almost a year ago, and I've been kind of wanting one ever since. And then I finally took the plunge, I don't know, about a month or so ago. And one thing I would like to clear up, a lot of people think that I've gone crazy with 3D printing, and I do enjoy it, but I want to make sure everybody understands.
I got a question here. It says, man, I hate that echo. This thing says layer cooling fan, PLA, PHA, use after layer 1. It looks like it's on the second layer already. Should you turn that little fan on?
I guess you could. It wouldn't hurt anything, I don't think, if it's already on the second layer.
I'm just dying to press a switch.
Flip it. Yeah,
Sweet.
Ron says turn on the cooling fan. Anyway, I just want to make sure everybody's clear that I bought that CR10 about 4 or 5 weeks ago, however long it's been. And a week after I bought it, I was contacted by GearBest, and they asked me if I would do a review on an Ender 3. So yeah, I got the Ender 3 like 2 weeks after I bought the CR10, but I didn't buy that Ender 3. It was supplied to me through GearBest. So I'm only half crazy about 3D printing.
Well, I'm crazy enough that, well, if anyone that's listening out there, if you want to send me a larger machine, I'll be happy to do a review. But I warn you, it'll be an honest review.
Yeah, Ron,
if you've got a crappy machine, don't bother sending it.
Yeah, I was answering Ron Cleveland's question. He says, Dave, the Enders do the cooling. Oh, he wasn't asking the question. Yeah, the Enders turn a fan on automatically, so you don't have to. Apparently, whoever had that hobby has added kind of that extra fan there. That's a manual deal.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because it's I mean, we're talking, here's the switch. It goes in through the system. It goes out through the top, going through the, I mean, yeah, it could very well be a kit.
You could probably, Javi, you're a smart enough guy. I'm sure you could figure out how to wire that to where it would come on with the program and not manually like he did.
Oh, no doubt. It's, but yeah, I don't mind. Fun to flip a switch. That's an interesting shape, whatever it is.
It looks like it's going to put it on a raft.
I like how it's going forward and backward, and I mean it's cross hatching. Is that normal for or not for 3D prints?
Yeah, what it's doing is building what they call a raft. That it's just a couple of layers, and then it will start making the cat on top of that.
Really? I mean, okay.
It's got to make something for the cat to set on.
Well, it just helps it to stick to the, it'll stick to that little mat or wrap. When I ran the separate program for the Ender 3, it wasn't a cat, it was a dog, but it was the same kind of thing, and it did a wrap first.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fascinating. It goes, it went into the horizontal position for the first layer, vertical for the second. Now it's going again. Well, actually, vertical for the first, horizontal for the second, and now vertical again.
Is it moving in the Z direction in any way?
Not at all. Not at all. It is moved twice in the Z direction. Right now, it is solid in the. Let me double check that.
Well, I would imagine it's got to print the entire layer first.
Yeah, it's actually printing the entire layer.
Jim Bashirs is asking if you know what size the build plate is.
Yeah, 4.7 by 4.7 inches. I believe it's 4.7 by 4.7 by, I think the height is 4.9 or 4.7. I'm not sure. But the Monoprice.
Okay, now he's asking, so can I expect all of you to come to MRRF next year? What is MRRF?
You might see me there, Jim.
If I knew what it was and it was close enough, yeah. Yeah.
It's
okay.
It's some kind of a maker fair, I think.
I got you. Yeah, infill can be changed in the in the thing. I wonder, I mean, I'm just gonna let this thing go. I'm assuming it's not gonna blow up my house. Well, I'll probably be working on my RV tonight, so
okay, MRRF is the Midwest Rep Rap Festival, biggest 3D printing show. Where is that at? And where can we find info on it, Jim? It's in Indiana.
Well, if it's in Indiana, I'm there. Ben Heck and just cool.
Apparently Becca's got the echo.
Really? I'm not doing anything.
I know, that's funny. It's weird. Maybe your mic is uber sensitive. Well, now it's check. Now it's gone.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
That's a problem.
Well, that would be a problem. For those of you who don't see it because it's presenting on me, the headset is sort of not plugged in.
Well, that could be a factor.
We've all been there.
Sorry about that.
This is interesting.
I love the fact that we just heard the Windows 10 when she plugged it in.
Now it's setting up a device. All right.
Okay, so it's up by Notre Dame. I grew.
I'm going to be well, I guess you can't print. Well, let me ask you this. Can you print multiple items on the same, like, spaced out on the same block, or is that not recommended?
Yes, you can. For example, like your little air tab thing.
Right.
You could, when you're putting this in your slicer program, you could put like 4 of these or however many would fit on that plate, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Now, but it will print them layer by layer, and there won't be a problem with sticking. I mean, with breaking apart.
No, I mean, I haven't done it that much. I've done a couple of parts.
Right.
Nothing real fancy, but I see other guys do it all the time, so it can be done. Ron, I'll go if you'll go. So
Dave, that spool that he put on there, how much does it cost, and how long running at this speed would it last?
I don't know exactly what type he's got, but it's probably less than $20 for that roll. I pay like $17.99 for the stuff I use, and it lasts. I can't even tell you how long it lasts because you can make so many things.
I would imagine it depends on what you're printing and what your infill percentage is.
Well, I actually did a calculation, and what was it, Dave? I
can't remember, but all I can say is they last a long, long time. Because I think
it was 5.4 days of solid printing at full speed.
Really? All right.
Yeah, because you figure the diameter is 1.75 millimeters. The head is, at least Dave's was 0.2 millimeter, and based on the maximum speed, maximum extrusion rate, I just did a simple volume calculation and.
Okay, Jim Bashirs is saying that Cura will tell you how much filament you'll use for the file.
Yeah, it'll tell you in meters how many meters you'll use. But like I said, you know, there's guys that'll set these things up and run them for like 80 hours at a time.
This little cat there that's popping up is looking pretty interesting. Whatever the heck it is.
Ron Cleveland says, no, that's not right. I can go through a spool in a couple of days.
Ah.
Okay.
I would imagine
he might have a hotter extruder and it might be faster. Or can he? Or is it the same machine?
All I know is it's still a long time. You know, running the stuff I run, just running something once in a while. That spool, like I bought that, the black and the orange. What other color did I buy? Well, I bought all three. I bought black, orange, and silver. And I just opened the silver yesterday. And I've still got some black and I've still got some orange. And I've been printing for off and on for a couple of weeks.
I would imagine it depends on what you're printing, how often, and what your infill percentage is. Because if you're printing solid blocks, you're going to use more than if you print something that's relatively hollow, isn't it? I'm asking. I'm not saying. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what you're printing.
This is just. I haven't been this entertained since I bought my rotary engraver years ago.
Yeah. Well,
it's the music. It's the same music I'm hearing. It's
probably we've got 25 people watching, so I think it's probably a good time now to start the pool. Today's June the 9th. We're going to get a pool started on when he'll be buying his next one.
What you don't know is while it's focused on his 3D printer, he's designing parts to print on this to make a bigger one.
What's wrong with that?
Either that or he's shopping on Amazon.
One of the two.
This is fascinating. I'm just enjoying myself here.
You know, I gotta say, when I saw that little thing, I was kind of giggling along with a few other people, but it's moving right along.
It's kicking butt. I was doing the same thing. I'm going, holy cow. This is,
I'm kind of impressed at how fast that little puppy is actually moving.
And the base one, I believe, is 169, something like that, or $200, I think, maybe.
So
I know it was it was 200 or 210 when I saw it last, but that was 4 months ago.
Back to my question about the Z-axis. How tall will this little one make something?
According to this, let me double check, but I believe it's. Oops. Let's see. Did I knock this out of whack now? I believe it's 4.7. Also, let me. I'll tell you right now.
Ron made a good point. He says that it's quieter than a CNC.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I love about mine is even if I have
you can't be showing this you can't be showing the CNC on the thing. Yeah, this is the V2 and it is come on. Goodness gracious. Here it is. 4.7 by 4.7 by 4.7. Well, that's easy to remember. 120 by 120 by 120 millimeters.
Yeah, that's what I like about mine. I can have both of them going, be sitting just 4 feet away at the computer, and you know you can hear yourself think they're not. I hear some guys talk about how loud the fans are, and I'm thinking, they just never been around a CNC. They don't know what loud is.
They don't know what loud is. That's some really cool tunes there. Yeah, let me see if I can share with you the sound. Let's see here. Pull my mic out of here. No, maybe I better not.
Okay, I just looked it up, and that one right now is selling for just a little over $200. So from Monoprice. That's as of right now, June 9th.
The V2?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fun little machine to watch, I'll tell you.
It is. It's kind of fascinating.
Dave, what's the biggest thing you've made on yours?
I guess I've made, I hate to say because it's more crap. But I was testing, okay? I was testing. But I made 2 rockets that they're probably, I don't know, 10 inches tall or so. But just by comparison, he said that one is 4.7 by 4.7 by 4.7.
Right.
The ender is 220 millimeters, which is,
oddly enough, Becca, you still got an echo on yours.
Just under 9 inches. So the ender 3 is not quite 9 by 9 by just under, what's 250, almost 10, I think. And it's also for about $200. So the ender 3 is, as far as build volume, it's a good bang for the buck.
Yeah, but you couldn't put that one in your lunchbox and take it with you where you went.
It's pretty small. I mean, the footprint isn't much bigger because the ender 3 has the control panel mounts to the frame and the spool mounts on top, so it has a much smaller footprint. Well, you watched my video, Mark.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was just teasing Javi about the size of his.
I could stick this in a backpack. Now, let me ask you this: does anybody know what this cat thing is that I'm making? Or what it's going to, let me see what it's going to look like. Let me see. Whoops. Every time I
can
wire here.
Hold on, let me mute myself. I'll go get mine and I'll show you when I come back.
Oh, you've got one of these cat things?
Yeah, I think that's what the sample program was with my CR10. Hold on, I'll run and get it.
The black and white one? Okay. I'll probably should wait for Dave to get back, but
the black and white one's the dog. That's the one that came with the Ender 3.
I should probably wait till Dave gets back to ask this, but see, I want to make sure I get it right. Jim Dockrell wants to know, how do you make your own designs for it to print? I would imagine you could use just about any CAD or CAM package, couldn't you? As long as you had the right post processor.
Yep. Oh, I see what it's making. I think I see what it's making.
Okay, Javi, this is probably what it's going to look like.
All right, hang on a second. Wait up, Dave. Ready?
Yep.
Yep, that looks like it.
And the Ender 3 printed the dog.
Okay. That's where I got confused.
Are there a lot of already programmed files available out there, or do you pretty much have to do your own thing?
Are there a lot of what? I'm sorry?
already ready to run programs available?
Oh, there are incredible amounts. If you look at Thingiverse, you mean models? There are.
Yeah.
It at first, like Dave, I was a little skeptical because I'm going, yeah, they're all printing these just useless pieces of crap. Is the only word that truly describes it. But then I started searching for different things like CNC and different USB things that I thought would be very practical. And I found just about every search pulled up something interesting. I mean, yes, probably 80 to 90% of the stuff out there you got to sift through is pure unadulterated garbage that probably one person finds really cool, but like this cat. Okay, this cat is you know, it's great for a first thing. I'll probably stick it up on my shelf as the first thing I printed, but it is totally and utterly useless. Other than that, for me, maybe for a cat lover, but well, I am not neither a cat lover nor find a little piece of plastic cat useful for anything, other than demonstrating a printer. But uh, that other 5 or 10%, it's incredible what's out there. I mean, it really is a lot of cool and practical stuff. Like that air tab is like that vortex generator that I downloaded, and there's 10 or 20 different styles on Thingiverse.
Yeah, when Ron Cleveland was on Dave's show last year, he was talking about how a lot of people think of it as a trinket machine. Because when you're trying to demonstrate them, that's about all you can do because you don't know what somebody else has a need to make. So there's a lot of trinkets like the little cat, what have you. Yeah.
I don't know how that's happening.
I don't either.
I'm all plugged in.
That's funny.
But
I'm telling you, it's Hangouts.
But I have seen, ever since then, there's been about 24 times where having one of these would have really come in handy, especially if I break something plastic, a bracket or something like that. It would be great to be able to 3D print a new one.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to do is I've got one of these little GoPros that I purchased, and it is got the little springy plastic battery cover just dropped off somewhere in my yard, broke off, and has never been found since. I wouldn't mind printing a new one of those. It's pretty simple. All it is a rectangle with a little tab on it on one side to slip under, and on the other side it's got like a hole. So again, 2 tabs on either side, and one of them is springy-ish.
Well, like the limit switch mounts on the Gatton CNC build I did.
Yeah.
Those were all 3D printed. The spacers for the motors were all 3D printed. I mean, there's all kinds of little things like that can be 3D printed.
Now I'm searching Thingiverse for that thing that Ron said.
This is weird.
Earbud holder. That's pretty cool.
Javi?
What? I'm sorry?
This is weird. Somebody's complaining that the feed's locked on Dave. On my screen over here, it's locked on Dave, but on the screen over here, it's not. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay,
you presented Dave Gatton. I think you still.
How's that?
It's still Dave over here, but I'm still seeing the printer.
Yep, you're still presenting Dave. Now you're presenting the printer.
There we go.
Okay, now. Okay. There you go, Jim.
Sorry, I have the chat up blocking that screen. I didn't notice it was stuck on me because I'm watching it on the Hangout.
Well, we're all just intrigued by his reactions.
We're watching the wind blows through his hair.
Yeah. So let's see. Thingiverse number 912748. Why is it when I searched for that, it pulled up a whole bunch of them, and none of them are. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Search 912748 things. I'm seeing a lot of different things, from Eiffel Tower to hey, quick shoe ties. I like that. Those are cool.
Because time is just too difficult.
Chip clip that.
You know, you're one step away from Crocs if it's too much of a pain to tie your shoe. The next step is Velcro and then Crocs.
I hate Crocs, but I also hate tying my shoes.
You're in Florida. You're related to Crocs.
Yeah, well, alligators. Yeah.
I mean, heck, you got a 3D printer. You can print your own shoes now.
There's a lot of interesting stuff on here. And again, for everything interesting, there's 10 items that are just not interesting.
Uh-oh, Jim Bashir says, no Croc hater zone, please. So we strike a little bit close to home there. Boot.
Never been a fan.
See, a car mount for my phone. Nah, I could use another one of those. And not pay $20 for it.
Yeah, I made a joke about somebody printing up shoes, and now I've got Ron Cleveland saying it's done. Jim Dockrell saying, yep, flip-flops.
See you, Matt.
Oh, Matt was here.
Matt Haas.
Hey,
Awesome
Matt.
wood.
How's it going?
Awesome wood
See you later,
thing.
Matt. Let's see.
I'm telling you, that 3D printing just brings them in.
Brings them
Yeah,
in.
it does.
That's crazy. A bunch of different Raspberry Pi cases. A bunch of, man, I see there's a lot of really cool stuff out there.
See you, Jim.
Yeah, holy cow. It's, yeah, we're coming up on the hour. So
Jeff Connor says, check out the soda can handle on Thingiverse.
ooh, yeah, that sounds
Just what
good.
you need is a handle for your Diet Coke.
Actually, come to think of it, 30-ounce handle.
See, the problem with that,
Yeti.
Jeff, is you're assuming that a can is going to last long enough for him to put a handle on it.
There we go.
Well, I've actually
but look
been
at this.
thinking about-
there's some nice ones. There's a pistol grip Yeti. I mean, for Chad's cups. Well, you know, this is what I. Hang on a second here.
Yeah, I was thinking about making something that hold the tumblers that Chad makes.
Yeah, I mean that's some good stuff.
You know, with a handle.
I mean, this is clearly, you know, something that won't interfere with the googly eyes and can hold it nice and firm. Because there's nothing, and something like some of these pistol grips it's really nice because when I go in my car, this slips fine into the cup holder, but now I've got, well, let's just say elephant fingers, and then now I'm trying to grab this cup, which is fine, but I mean, it just, I'm a small guy. This is barely, if you look at it from the top, this barely over the halfway point. So I mean, it's not likely to slip off. But when it's a full Diet Coke with ice, it takes a lot of pressure to bring this over to this hand to do this.
Oh,
And
the problems you have.
I'd rather have the handle. I mean, you know, first world problems, folks.
You could 3D print a nose that you could double stick tape on there to go with the eyes. The googly eyes on your cup.
Oh, that's true. I could.
Or the Rocky Horror Picture Show lips, you know.
Yeah. Let me leave this here so You could see it happening. Yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting. It's I'm not fond of the lines. I'm really quite what's the word, spoiled.
Does
I
it
want a perfectly smooth. Um,
does it smell bad?
no, it smells nice. I mean, well, it smells like melted plastic, which
Hobby that
I'm a guy, so I've
I I think that thing's making this same exact cat
it's
that I did.
I looked it up. If you look up the cat.g code from Monoprice, it's very similar to yours. Very similar. Um, if not the same thing. I mean, it's almost identical. It might very well be, but a mirror image. Becca, in answer to your question, does it smell bad? Well, as a kid, and I don't know if anybody out there in the chat has experienced this, please by all means share. When we used to make models of battleships and different types of airplanes from, well, from Revell or Revel, I don't know how you pronounce it, Revell, or cars, whatever. They came in these little plastic molded pieces, and you'd break off, and you remained with the skeleton that held the plastic pieces. Well, I was a kid. I had access to a lighter. I had plastic pieces that would melt and make this really cool smoke. And when you'd run it over the lighter just long enough, it would melt it into like a ball. And then you'd get another piece and you melt it into a ball, and you could actually break off all these sticks of plastic and reform them into some creative thing. Masterpiece? Hardly, but it's really cool.
Sort of
Most
like
of it would be it's gray with black soot intermixed.
so kind of like
And
the original old school 3D printer then.
that's old school 3D printer on a very large scale. So
Okay.
has anybody ever done that, or is it just me?
I think it was just
You.
Just curious.
Over here, Keith Frankel says, put it in the microwave, it'll get rid of the lines. Now, is he being silly and it's just going to melt into a blob, or does that really work?
I don't know. Actually, the
They can
cat,
put one over on us because we're new at this.
when it gets all done, when you see it actually looks almost textured. It looks like cat. So it's supposed to be smooth.
Well, I'm guessing. I mean, there are techniques like a little bit of sanding, a little bit of acetone, and
Oh, Keith says blob.
yeah. Ron says that won't work with PLA. Now, when Ron was on Dave's show last year, a few people mentioned something about there is a method that involves the fumes from acetone,
right.
but one of the side effects is it can kill you. So
Oh dear.
Well, okay, so it's a simple matter. I have to decide how badly I want to get rid of those lines.
You can have a smooth cat and be dead, or it's one of those glass half empty, half full things. So
yeah. Well, at the very least, I can certainly. It's big enough that I can print a 2-inch duct adapter, for vacuum.
now, Dave brought up something a couple of weeks ago on one of his shows about talking about Michelle Sleeper with Overworld Designs, and they print with ABS. Then go ahead and use Bondo and sandpaper and primer. And I mean, they do some glorious stuff. I mean, really, really high quality stuff.
Ron was saying acetone works with ABS. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, they got some really cool. They got some really cool designs of all sorts. Yeti handles and reinforced. Some of them are they're fantastic. I mean, you know, what was I? There was somebody mentioned a little while ago. Couldn't think of it.
Heck, there's even a CNC that you can print postage for. I think it's called it's a CNC router. I think it's called the MP CNC. The MP stands for mostly printed.
Well, I will say this. I'm definitely going to those airfoils. I'm definitely going to CNC them, and with a round over bit, they'll come out very smooth and it'll be a lot quicker. And we'll see how that works out. But yeah, there's a lot of neat little projects I'd like to try, and the neat part about I was just thinking about it. The neat part about having the gray, the neat part about having the gray plastic is that all the tools are gray and it looks metalish. So all I got to do is paint the if I want to paint the sections that are not gray. DeWalt yellow, the little red throat plates, and things like that.
Keith Sprankle is wanting to know if that printer has a time remaining estimate on the print job.
Let's see. 14%.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 6-hour live stream.
Yeah, I'm telling you now. That's pretty much it. It's about 11, and that reminds me I'm probably going to be calling it quits and give it a couple minutes.
Okay, Ron Cleveland also says, remember that the summer sun can melt PLA.
Yep. I will definitely keep that in mind. I mean, most of the stuff I'm going to do is, I'm not going to be leaving my models out in the sun. But then again, this is just cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's just so. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, man, when you're used to building one of Dave's machines or even the Cam Master, you look and you go, man, that's a solid machine. Dave's is, and I'm seeing this thing with a belt that's about 3/8 of an inch wide and looks as if it's like a plastic strap that you cut off from one of these packages you receive in the mail. It's incredible.
Well, it's just cool to me because we're all used to CNC where you're starting off with this chunk of something and you're subtracting material to make it something. Where this, you're starting out with just a spool of almost like thread and laying down little lines and building it from the ground up. And it's I just like watching it. It's cool.
Yeah, for me, exactly. For me, I mean, the CNC part, I would say, it's cool if you don't know CNC, but I mean, come on, how many machines do we have CNC? I mean, I've got nobody opens up their printer except unless you're me and you stick little rubber things to make the printer think the lid is closed.
And you want to know the really coolest thing?
Back and forth, but it's basically a CNC. I've got a vinyl cutter, same thing. I've got the rotary engraver. I've got this thing, CNC, and the laser engraver. CNCs, watching them go up and down and back and forth, old. That's old. But the fact that there's this little nozzle just adding on to it, I don't know. It brings out the little kid in you. It makes me feel like I'm this giant. And I'm seeing this monstrous house with cement. because you look at those videos of those monstrous CNC machines and you wish you had one. I know
really.
I do.
Yeah, the cool thing, Javi, is when that gets all done, you don't have to get a shop back and vacuum.
Yeah, the only problem is what do I do? I turn it all off and wait for it to cool down before this thing can pop off, or what?
Yeah, probably it won't take that long for it to cool down.
Yeah, Thomas says he printed a hole to add a rolling drag knife to his Gatton CNC. That would be cool. I'd like to have a drag knife on mine.
Yeah, they've got 4 or 5 different drag knife designs on Thingiverse or more that you can print with one of these that fit right inside your CNC with the spring and everything.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Or a digital probe. Print up a digital probe.
Well, folks, I guess I've kept you up late enough, and I'm probably going to go head over for a couple. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I've got to cut the hole in the sink for my RV. For those of you following along, I'll be putting out a video soon enough, a time lapse video. But I've completely gutted the kitchen, which was the last remnants of the original part of the RV, and I've built a new cabinet, put it on the countertop, cut a hole in the countertop for the range. All I've got left is to cut the sinkhole. I love saying that. I've got to cut a sinkhole. And drop the sink in place. All the plumbing's in place, and then comes the easy part. Just build a bunch of drawers and mount them, and I'm done. And I got to do this all by Thursday when I'm leaving on a nice little trip. So you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you all for coming by, especially those of you who've stayed watching this.
Thanks for sharing that unboxing with us, Javi.
And thank you for the idea, Dave. The question and answer session became a 3D viewing event. That's fun.
Let me know if you need a GearVest affiliate link.
Yep. Well, and to end, if there are any other, thank you all for coming again on the panel. Becca, Dave, Mark, and thank you all for watching, especially you, Ron, out there with all the wonderful advice and the rest. And if there are any CNC machines out there that would like a review, hey, I can't promise a 100% positive review, but I can promise you a 100% honest one. And I wouldn't mind having a bigger machine. Hint, hint. Good night, all.